what do you think then is the likely impact of, firstly, digital distribution by reducing the cost of print production, and secondly, internet? Do either of these or both of these have any bearing on your decisions at the moment yet?
Definitely. I mean, I don't think we're not buying. Whenever we buy a film, we make sure we get VOD and internet. That's absolute company policy because we know that's where it's heading. We're not buying films for that yet because the market share of those rights is not big enough to really dictate what works and what doesn't. But I think that for a distributor like us, it's only a good thing because one of the limitations to growth has been physically connecting with our audience, whether it be theatrically or ancillary. Geographically, a lot of these small towns that don't have cinemas, there are people who want to see our movies but physically can't get their hands on them. So I think it's going to open up channels for independence that never existed before, and that's what's exciting. We love the idea that look both ways. We'll be able to be seen by people in regional Australia that would never be able to get access to this film until it's screened on free-to-air television. And I think there is an appetite for these kind of films outside of the cities. There definitely is.
But you're saying the market is just not big enough yet?
No. I mean, I'm talking about areas, I guess, where there isn't a cinema. But even in the case of some smaller regional towns that do have cinemas, the cost of a 35mm print was just not justifiable to go there from day one. So often these towns, if they ran the film at all, would not get it until 3 to 4 or 5 months down the track. And often their video store wouldn't even buy a copy of the film.
So you wouldn't consider a simultaneous multi-platform release?
It's something we've considered, and I think the thing that makes most sense to me is maintaining a theatrical window, because I do think that is important, but I think collapsing a number of ensuing ancillaries so that there is a point after theatrical in which you can see it on cable, you can download it, you can buy it to own.
And you can rent it? And
you can rent it,
yes.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. I am in favour of maintaining something of a theatrical window because I think that's important for filmmakers, and I also think it's still the theatrical release that drives the marketing campaign.
All right, finally, a question about the movie convention, the annual movie convention held in the Gold Coast. For some years until this year, you were involved with it. What was your role? Why did you do it? And what's the role of the convention?
Well, originally, back in the Globe days when we had our consultancy business, I think it was Noel Collier, who worked at Hoyts and was involved in the convention, realised that they needed some help with the event, and they needed a presence in Sydney, really, where a lot of the decisions were made, because the organising committee is based in Queensland. So it was a job for hire, essentially. And I have to say that was one of the more enjoyable jobs that I did, because it is about our industry. I mean, it's the biggest event that we have for distribution and exhibition, and it's about all those guys coming together. They don't do it at any other time of the year, and screenings are a major focus. The major distributors all show their show reels and upcoming product, and basically stand up and say this is the year ahead. It's modelled on Show West, which happens in Vegas every year. But aside from screening the product and the trailer reels and the thousands of films and snippets that people get up there for that few days, it's also about the latest issues that face our industry, and they're usually debated and discussed, and we have expert panels, and whether it be piracy or whether it be collapsing the windows or digital, and those sort of discussion topics are vital to the industry and where it's headed.
And it's primarily for independent exhibitors. I mean, that's the organisation that hosts it, the Queensland branch of the Exhibitors Association.
Yeah.
But it actually has brought together everybody else in the industry as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I think a large part of why it's brought everyone together in the industry is the location. I think everyone likes to go up there, to the Gold Coast.
Our own Las Vegas.
Absolutely, yeah. Put on your white shoes and away you go. But really, if an event like that were to be staged in, because it's been discussed many times over the years, if it was staged in Sydney or Melbourne, I think it would not have the same effect. You wouldn't get the amount of delegates. People would come and go, and whereas up there, everyone's there. It's a destination, and people get to thrash things out.
Why did you give it the gig up?
Well, I just felt I'd been doing it too long, and it was, I think, almost 10 years that I was involved with the events, and I think it needed some fresh ideas, and really, I became too busy with what I was doing as well, and my focus, I was away at markets and festivals and at sort of crucial times for those guys, so in fairness to them, I just didn't think I should keep doing it. Not that they wanted me to leave, but...
So you now have a situation where, as we speak, almost literally, the Becker Group has been sold to Prime, and so the future is a little unclear as to exactly what will happen with the film division. However, can you say this, that given that nothing will change in the sense of how you operate, let's say, do you see you guys doing anything dramatically revolutionary with distribution, or do you see steady as she goes in the near future?
Steady as she goes, I think. But apart from embarking on our rural television news reporter careers, news desk,
which we're looking forward to seeing.
No, look, we haven't even connected with those guys yet. Like, it's literally just happened. I don't know if it's something Prime want to even make part of their business, if they'll divorce the film assets and sell them to another party and very interested parties. So it could go a few directions, and it could be a different outcome or strategy, whichever direction it goes in.
Let's just say the next 6 weeks will be very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, by the time you see this, we'll probably be working, I don't know, who knows what we'll be working.
But in terms of acquisition process, the process remains the same for you.
Yeah.
As you see it, you don't see,
Yeah.
for example, focusing more on Australian product or getting involved in developing projects.
I mean, we certainly, we are, it's always about trying to get your projects earlier. So, we do that locally with Australian films. We put development funds up, and that's been successful. We've had a great run with the Aussie product, but I think there's only so many Australian films you can actually do each year, because they are so labour intensive. You start everything from scratch, and I think 3 or 4 Australian films a year is really probably the limit if you're going to give them the justice that they deserve. And just trying to buy the best films that are out there. As we talked before, the market has certainly got more conservative, so anything with Maggie Smith or Judi Dench, as we say, they're our Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, so buy it basically.
And it'd be nice to think that Prime want to get more involved in Australian film production and maybe doing some investment, but it's too early to know if that's on their game plan.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Andrew.